we're going to talk about sleeping teens. First, I want to say that I study law, and as other university students, I always get up early and want to sleep late on weekdays. I sleep about 6 hours or sometimes less. Also, when I have time, I take a nap in the afternoon. The biggest problem in most teens is racing, especially if we have not slept well. In the morning, it's always hard for me to get up because I feel very tired. However, I manage to recover in weekends because I sleep maybe 9 hours.
I sleep usually 8 hours minimum. And you, how many hours do you sleep? Every teenager should sleep 9 hours minimum. This addiction brings very severe effects on psychological development and physical for the teen, and long term can cause sleep disorders.
Hi. Facts. There are 3 facts. The first, causes. Second, effects. And third, sleep disorders. Causes. Demanding studies. One of the main problems or causes for a student cannot sleep is the overly demanding schedule imposed by the university to each student. As a college teenager needs to sleep at least 8 or 9 hours, but while in college that amount is reduced to 60%. I mean, the students sleep between 4 and 5 hours, not to mention exaggerated cases where he sleeps between 1 and 2 hours, tasting issues or projects. Another cause common in a student and affects a lot in their sleep quality is smoking. Because it reduces people's sleep, seeing it leads to cardiovascular problems, tasty, smell, etc. Causing trouble during the hours of sleep and therefore insomnia. This is due to the harmful components of snuff and nicotine. Is highly addictive and 3,000 more other chemicals such as arsenic, tar, carbon, and carbon monoxide, etc. There are other causes that prevent have a good sleep to a student. These causes can be considered that bad habits and even affect smaller scale, if unchecked, can cause big trouble at bedtime. For example, some of these bad habits are poor diet, not sleep at appropriate times, doing different activities bedtime, hindering the process of pre-sleep relaxations. These habits can become very harmful because bad accustom the body, bringing it to very stressful situations.
I am going to talk about effects. A study by University of California and Harvard Medical School uses scans to show that not sleep properly makes the emotional region of the brain are most active at 60%. This will lead to more uncontrolled and inappropriate reactions. This emotional consequence manifesting as drowsiness, sudden humor changes such as irritability, adopting a more pessimistic attitude, sadness, extreme anger, and increased stress and anxiety, and this could cause problems with acne. Also, being very tired affects the ability to concentrate and study. They may become more forgetful. This can hinder learning and retention of concepts. Also, the lack of sleep is related to the tendency to eat in larger quantities with a greater number of calories and carbohydrates. Also, you will be more likely to choose food, junk, even when you don't have hungry. A study by Carnegie Mellon University explained that sleeping less than 7 hours, both by the OMC, is associated with a high risk of getting diseases. For this, sleep helps to have a strong immune system. Sleep deprivation could be related to high blood pressure, cardiac arteries, and heart failure. A study by Harvard Health Publications says that show that sleep deprivation is associated with chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes, and there is less of more sensitivity to insulin because the ability to process glucose is lost, which can cause high levels of blood sugar. It can also cause glucose to be stored as fat, causing weight gain.
I'm going to talk about sleep disorders. Sleep disorders are not serious diseases in itself, but have serious implications in daily life. For example, physical exhaustion, low efficiency, the change sleep, family or social obligations, difficult to meet profession. The disorders are insomnia, hypersomnia, narcolepsy, snoring and apnea of the dream, parasomnia, and other disorders. Its origin is very varied. Sometimes they appear as a effect of other diseases and others. They are risk factors that favor the appearance of other pathologies. Therefore, the correct diagnosis and treatment of this patient needs a multidisciplinary approach. What are the symptoms? Some of the symptoms that produce sleep disorders are physical exhaustion, low efficiency, decline sleep, difficulty to meet the professional, family, or social obligations. Here we have different disorders like restless legs, sleepwalking, night terrors, hypersomnia, narcolepsy, and insomnia. What are the causes? There are more than the 10 types of disorders of sleep of varying origins. Sometimes sleep disorders appear as a result of other diseases and are risk factors for the appearance of other pathologies. In the case of insomnia, anxiety, hyperthyroidism, or those that produce pain are the most common cause. In the hypersomnia, the cause may be associated with anxiety or severe depression, abuse of hypnosis, or sleep apnea. For its part, snoring is caused by mechanical obstruction temporary of the upper respiratory tract. Most frequent emerge from age 40, especially if they suffer from obesity, in many cases accompanied by obstructive sleep apnea. In the case of narcolepsy, the case of chronic hypersomnia in early age. Bruising is due to emotional stress and the occlusal interference. Restless legs may have this case iron deficiency, anemia, chronic renal failure, diabetes mellitus, or Parkinson's disease. Also, some drugs are sedatives, antihistamines, neuroleptics, or antidepressants can worsen symptoms.
Finally, we have to give you some recommendations. According to the National Sleep Foundation, you should regularity in the hour of bedtime and rise. Expose teens to intense light in the morning. Another is avoid stimulation activities in the hour in which there is tendency to drowsiness. Avoid the use of stimulation substances like caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine.
Eliminate activities that put the teenager alert an hour before going to sleep. Age appropriate exercise and teach how to relax.
Another recommendation. It is important to make sleep a priority. So I recommended to turn off the cell phones to disconnect our brain of the world. Thank you.